Everyone's so today is kind of a cool show that we have, or a quick little meeting, I guess you say we're going to have. We're going to talk about the Smurfs, and today we have the executive producer of Peyo Productions, Nele De Wilde, and we have the voice of the infamously terrible Gargamel, if you want to say it that way, Mark Irons. Thank you both today for being here with me. And yeah, let's talk Smurfs. I'm excited about this today. So Nele, obviously it's been a while since the Smurfs has been on television, and we're already on volume 3 or season 1, volume 3 that's coming out, which should be out right now. So what was it that wanted to bring the Smurfs back to the audience?
Well, it was kind of a no-brainer. I mean, we had this fantastic series in the 80s that went for 9 seasons. So we have lots of material. And then instead of doing immediately a new show after that, we had these 3 Hollywood movies. When Sony decided not to do a 4th one, we said, okay, we need this brand to go on living, and then we need to, modernize it a bit. And that's when we started the adventure of producing the show ourselves. So yeah, it was kind of, a logic step in the evolution of the Smurfs.
Yeah, exactly. And then like how you said modernizing it. Watching this, I watched it with my son, and there's stuff that I crack up about. There's stuff that he cracks up about, and that we both. So that's what I love about it. It reminds me of watching it when I was younger, working up Saturday mornings. But yeah, there's stories of jealousy, screen time, which I thought was kind of hilarious. Finding that perfect gift, and then just being yourself. And then in being yourself, Mark, I wanted to ask you this because the voice of Gargamel is so iconic, and it's from Paul Winchell, I think was the original voice. So when you were given the role, like how did you come across like finding your own voice for him and not just copying what was done before?
Okay, so well, the original voice was actually a Belgian guy, well, French guy, and a Flemish guy, and then it was subsequently dubbed in by American actors. But your references to that guy. When I grew up, of course, in Belgium, though I'm British, I grew up in Belgium. I watched the series in French, so I only discovered the American dubbed version much later on, as I was basically an adult, going, "Hey, wow, this is a." So I discovered his voice much later on. So to answer the question. You get a phone call and they say, well, would you like to do, this character? And you kind of go, wow, okay, he's an iconic villain, And so I thought to myself, well, I'm not going to be able to replicate what other people have done. And I don't think there's an interest in that. So let's flesh him out as a character. Okay, who is this guy? And where do I take him? And I had to love him. I had to feel empathy for him. He is a villain, but he's not an evil. He's not like 100% bottled evil. This lonely, grubby old guy that lives in this derelict house, chasing obsessively Smurfs, living with a cat that's more intelligent than he is. How did this guy get into that predicament, into that situation, right? You can only feel sorry for a guy like that. So that's how I play him. So he ramps up. He gets obsessive and he ramps up and he goes nuts. And then when he acts normal, that's when it becomes abnormal. And from then on, your voice can take you millions of places. So, yeah.
And then I want to say something. And I think it was the 3rd or 4th episode with Clumsy Smurf, when they build him the plane. There is a moment in there that if you're a fan of, I want to say Marvel movies, there's like a nice little homage to Peter Parker, which I thought was hilarious. And I'm not want to spoil it because I want people to watch it.
Well spotted.
Yeah, but I thought that was great, and I've noticed that throughout the show, there's all these references, and anyway, I think that's so great because it's like as a parent, sometimes you sit down and watch something with your kid, and you're like, I'm not gonna like this, but then there's those little things that wait, that's from this movie, and then I guess was it consciously something that you guys thought of when you were making the show? So to make it, I guess, to those that were originally fans of the show to watch it now with their kids, or how did that all come about?
Yeah, that was really intentional because we heritage and this whole fan base, and we really didn't want them to say, okay, this is just for my kid to watch, and I don't like it. I prefer the one from the 80s.
Right.
So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Oops. Let's
cutting up a bit. No, so I'll jump in if the connection's breaking. But basically the references. I mean, I'll clue you in because it's a great question, and I'm glad that you've actually pinpointed one or the other reference. And I'll tell you what I do when I prep them, because I direct the actors, I voice direct them. So I have two kids. They're 7 and 5 years old. When I prep the series, I watch it with them, and I watch them watching it, and then I see what they laugh at and what they don't laugh at, and then we start bringing in the actors and then adding stuff. And then we made a point of adding lots of references to either characters, famous lines, film, because what we found out was, and the way the scriptwriters wrote it, to bring it into the modern era, is to layer everything. So in fact, it becomes like a family thing. You nailed it when you said, essentially, yeah, I watch it with my kids and I actually enjoy it because I see things that they don't, or we see things together, or I laugh at something and he laughs at something else. And it's great that you say that, because that was intentional, and that's what we're trying to do. Is I want people to watch it like I watch it with my kids together, you know?
Yeah. And then like I said, there's a great I Am Spartacus moment in there that I thought was hilarious.
Good. I know it's great, but great conversation. It's nice. It's flattering that it's working, because we do it and we send it out there and we kind of hope that people are going to kind of get it.
Yeah.
So cool. That's nice. It's nice to hear.
Yeah. Again, I'm a big nerd with all these things. So any little thing like that, I'm like, oh my god, they're doing it, and my kids are like, what? And I'm like, well, I'll tell you later. Let's watch the show and I'll explain it later.
The devil's in the detail. Yeah,
exactly. And then there's a lot of great new characters now. Willow is one of them that, obviously we all just knew Smurfette, but now we have Willow, which is kind of great to see that the Smurf crowd, I guess, the universe is expanding, which is amazing. I know we're kind of running out of time, but I do want to ask you both. I mean, this is a question my son wanted me to ask, like, who's your favorite Smurf? I know it's like picking your favorite child, but which one would you say is your favorite Smurf?
Go on, Nele. You can.
Yes. It's a question we get a lot, and it's really difficult for me to answer that, because it's like choosing between your children. You don't want to do that. But yeah, like historically, I would say it's the Smurfette, because that was the only girl at the time that I grew up with, and of course that kind of stays with you. So I think that she's kind of my favorite character, also because she's become this strong, independent woman, and that's then again something that I can relate to now. I'm hoping to be that as well. So yeah, and other than that, I mean, I just love them all because they're so they each have their own little personality, and depending on how you feel one day, you can relate to another character, and that's kind of also what makes the success of the Smurfs. So,
yes.
I hope that came through all right.
Yeah, I know. I heard
is really bad.
Smurfette's a great choice. Yeah. I like Smurfette is a great example. I like the I like a lot of the characters that don't say very much also, because they add flavor and colors, and they're like little blotches of color on a white canvas, and very often those characters will play seemingly minor parts, but actually in the narrative at a particular episode will add so much, whether it's a recurrent, like the recurrent joke of Grouchy or Azrael, he doesn't say much, but his eyes and his attitude says it all. I mean, you kind of get in a nutshell why he looks at Gargamel and like, oh, Jesus, what are you up to again? It's little things like that kind of add a lot of color as well. So yeah, but Nil is right. I mean, picking a favorite is kind of like asking to pick between your children. You know,
Right.
that's a rough question. Yeah.
I want to thank both of you very much for your time today. Smurfs Volume 1, Season 3 is now available. And then, Mark, can you just, in Gargamel's voice, just tell us why you should watch this show?
Because if it doesn't happen, I will eat you all.
Thank you very much. You guys have a great day. Bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching. If you like what you watch, please subscribe to our channel. Hit the like button, share it with your friends, family if you think they'll be interested in watching what we do, and check us out on our website. Again, thank you very much for watching.